Are ATs crazy? Insanity is a long-established theme in AT's lore. It's been around since the beginning. Really, it's in the very first lyrics of both Pirate King and Treasure. It's also mentioned in the lyrics of Utopia, Illusion, Dancing Like Butterfly Wings, Precious, To the Beat, One Day at a Time, Deja Vu, Not Too Late, Don't Stop, Bouncy, Wake Up, Ariba, Blind, Shaboom, Birthday, Deep Dive, Man on Fire, Selfish Waltz, Lemon Drop, and In Your Fantasy. They even made an entire title track just about this topic. Crazy Form. Its title being a double meaning play on the Korean slang term that means someone is insanely good, they're on fire, but you can also interpret Crazy Form more literally, as a descent into madness. In fact, the word crazy in AT's content nearly always carries a double meaning, portraying the wild, ecstatic fever brought on by music and dance, and at the same time tying into this larger theme of insanity. As part of the promotion for Crazy Form and the World Fin album, they released this poster with the Alice in Wonderland quote, "We're all mad here." In the portion of the book that this quote comes from, the Cheshire Cat informs Alice that everybody in Wonderland is mad, that you actually can't wind up in Wonderland without being crazy. He goes on to compare dogs and cats, explaining that everything in Wonderland is the opposite of the way it should be, hence they're all mad. Alice doesn't just go to a tea party in Wonderland, she goes to a mad tea party, dutifully attended by the Mad Hatter and the Mad March Hare. The ordinary, normal people in England think Alice is crazy. They think she's strange, odd, different. They think she's a child with an overactive imagination who confuses her dreams with reality. They don't think she's actually traveling to another world where these impossible things happen. And we see the same phenomenon several times in the Golden Hour diary entries. The people in World A who read Hungjun's book detailing ATEEZ's adventures in World Z believe it to be a work of fiction. They don't think it's a diary depicting Hungjun's real experiences. While discussing the book, the fire chief says, "My daughter's crazy about that book. Who in their right mind would live like that?" He says the story is absurd. Sangwon knows that if he were to rebuke these critiques, the chief would think he was out of his mind, because believing that someone can travel to another world is crazy. It's impossible. Later on, when ATs meet with the professor, he tells them that his scientific theories concerning multiple dimensions have resulted in him being labeled as a lunatic, an oddball, as crazy. People who are dreamers, those who see the world differently, are judged as insane. In the film Inception, through the characters of Cobb and Mal, we are presented with two opposite perspectives, one in which the world is real, and another where the world is a dream. After returning from limbo, the idea that her world isn't real grows like a cancer in Mal's mind. She believes she is trapped in a dream, and she's treated throughout the entire movie as if she's insane. But she might actually be right. And whether in their storyline ATs are experiencing a mild case of confusion and déjà vu, or something more extreme like psychosis, delusions, or hallucinations, I think it comes down to this. In reality, you're sane. But in a fantasy, in a world of illusion and dreams, you've gone mad. ATEEZ's sanity entirely depends on if the world is real or not. And as I've covered several times, I think reality and illusion are a matter of perspective. Let's start with World A. From this point of view, I think it's totally legitimate for us to interpret World Z as nothing more than a trauma reenactment. ATs are feeling oppressed in World A. They've had their dreams ripped away from them, and that manifests as an imaginary, exaggerated dream world within oppressive government outlawing art and emotion. This mirrored lens through which they see their own trauma reflected back at them. World Z isn't real, it's just an expression of the pain they've experienced in World A. It's the way they deal with loss, by finding a new world and gaining power over their adversaries. Their adventures in World Z are outlandish and crazy, and World A is very much portrayed as the sane, rational world that we, the audience, are familiar with. But if we flip the perspective to a World Z perspective, the opposite will be true. World A is just an illusion, a hallucination induced by yellow smoke, sedating the population via memories of the past and therefore making them easier to control, asleep and trapped in a dream world. Yellow smoke makes the people of Strickland drunk, drugged, mad, causing them to do insane things, like attack people with baseball bats and nearly run off of cliffs. Let's do a brief thought experiment. Say you flip a coin in 3D space. Person A looks at it from down perspective and says, the coin landed on heads. Person Z looks at it from up perspective and says, no, you're delusional, you're crazy, you've lost your marbles, because from my perspective, the coin clearly, obviously, indisputably landed on tails. The question of whether the coin landed on heads or tails, whether the world is real or an illusion, whether they're normal ATs or holoTs, etc., 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 that question almost doesn't matter. Because there is no correct answer to it. Each perspective can make a perfectly sound argument and present equally convincing evidence supporting their case. Whether the coin landed on heads or tails is determined by the worldly perspective the viewer is observing through, and anything that contradicts their current experience of reality will be dismissed as insane. Observation is what defines reality and therefore sanity. There is an extremely narrow liminal space where both points of view coexist, where heads becomes tails, where up becomes down, where day becomes night. It's not a trumpet or a bullhorn, it's a horn. The solution is not heads or tails, it's heads and tails. It's the flip, it's the coin, because the coin is treasure. The place where reality and illusion, up and down, A and Z, heads and tails meet. Thank you for coming to my dumb thought experiment. This has been Schrodinger's coin flip. In the third Pirates of the Caribbean film, we have Jack Sparrow, the wild, adventurous pirate, versus the stale enforcer of the regime, Lord Beckett. And partway through the movie, Beckett makes this comment to Jack, declaring him as mad. Jack responds that of course he is, otherwise his antics would never succeed. To be a pirate is to be insane. Pirates reject control and conformity. They're different. They go their own way, following their own desires wherever they may lead. Pirates are brave. No amount of fear or risk will stop them. Pirates succeed at pulling off daring accomplishments, achieving dreams that others will dismiss as insane. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, which was referenced all the way back in Yoseng's Fever One diary entry, as the Athenians sleep in the wood, the fairies work their magic, inducing madness, infatuation, obsessive desire. After all, falling in love results in its own kind of insanity. Love makes you blind to reality. You develop this passion, this fever, a mad frenzy fueled by the heart. ATs are pirates. They obsessively love only one thing: treasure. And we know from songs like Precious and Crazy Form that treasure is something that drives ATs crazy. This thing, this dream that they want so badly to be real, it makes them insane. The call of treasure will transform you from a sane, ordinary person into a madman, a pirate, an adventurer. So, to answer my earlier question, are ATs crazy? Yeah, kinda. But I think you just might have to be a little bit crazy to go off in search of treasure. Or at the very least, other people will perceive your actions as crazy. They'll judge you, say you're wrong, delusional, strange, odd, different, absurd, a lunatic, a rebel, a troublemaker. Because believing that you can do something impossible, that you can make your dreams a reality, is crazy.